Hello, hello. Welcome back to Big Goal Energy. Today, I want to take you a little bit deeper. I want to talk to the part of you that craves freedom, time freedom, creative freedom, financial freedom, but still finds herself clinging tightly to control. Over the last few months, I've been going through a bit of a reinvention, a quote unquote midlife crisis. And two of my guides and mentors mirrored back to me something that has cracked my world wide open. And when two different people, one from LA, one from New York, one Akashic Records reader, one a business coach, very, very, very different people. They do not know each other. Those two circles do not overlap. They do not form a Venn diagram. When the same very specific message comes to me from two different places like that, I have to listen. The sentence that each of them shared with me was, Bri, you have built a really beautiful business in the 3D world, and now it's time to build one in the 5D world. That one sentence has shifted everything for me in the last few months. Because the 3D world, this physical realm that we live in, is rooted in structure, hustle, productivity, and control. And that's where so many of us operate, especially solopreneurs. We build out every single part of our business from effort, from pushing, and from gripping. But if we're talking about moving into the fifth dimensional world, that is the realm of flow. It's the realm of intuition, expansion, trust, the unknown. The fifth dimensional world is where freedom lives. If you're a regular listener, you know that I have been called so deeply into this experience this year. I spent 2 weeks babysitting 17 chickens in Arkansas to physically force myself into the unknown. As this episode is releasing, I'm actually en route to Prescott, Arizona to do it again. Sans the chickens, but still. I have just been shown again and again and again this year that big goals and the vision I have, maybe the vision you have as well, are not going to come through hustle, productivity, and control, which means that I have the opportunity to live in flow, purposeful aligned actions, and the unknown. In this episode today, I'm going to show you how that control and that hustle and that gripping might be the very thing blocking the freedom that we all say that we want. We're going to explore how to begin shifting our businesses and our identities from the three-dimensional physical hustle, get shit done world to the fifth dimensional energetic flow freedom world so that we can all finally breathe, we can expand, and we can receive the bigness that we've all been calling in. Let's go there together.
You were never meant for a small life. You have bold ideas, audacious dreams, and visions that keep you up at night. But the truth is, big goals don't come with step-by-step instructions, and success doesn't come from doing more. It comes from becoming more. Welcome to Big Goal Energy, a podcast for high-achieving women who are done shrinking, striving, and second-guessing, and are ready to defy reality in pursuit of the life they actually want. I'm your hostess, Bri Seeley, goal architect, subconscious strategist, and your permission slip to want what you want. Join me as we go beyond the surface level success to explore the mindset, identity, and inner work required to bring your biggest, most delulu goals to life. This is your space to be seen, to be expanded, and to remember that you are not alone on this journey. Let's get into it.
Before we dive into today's episode, I want to illustrate for you in a way that you can physically experience it, the difference between freedom and control. This is a really, 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 really important element. So if you are, assuming you're not driving, I want you to play along with me. I want you to hold out your left hand and now form that hand into a fist. I want you to tighten it some more, and tighten it some more. And now I want you to try to take and force a coin or a trinket or something into your fist. Force it in there. Get it up in there. Try to force it in there. You may notice that you physically cannot. I can't get anything in here. And I don't know if you're anything like me right now. My nails are like digging into the palm of my hand, and it's actually quite painful. Now let's open our hand. And I want you to put those same, whatever, coins, trinkets, whatever, into your hand. Easy, right? Like I have 3 crystals in my hand right now of varying sizes and dimensions and shapes. Super easy. I wanted to illustrate this for you, specifically kicking off the episode today, because when we are gripping for control, when we are trying to hold on so tightly to our vision, our goals have no space to live. They can't get in here. This control is literally suffocating the life out of our dreams, and it's forcing our dreams to try to contort themselves into this very small space that we've created for it because we're literally forcing it to be a certain way. I do want to pause for a minute here and recognize that this experience is completely normal for 2 reasons. One, we live in a world that has conditioned us to believe that we have to force and manipulate our physical world in order for us to achieve what we want to achieve. The second reason this is normal is because, especially as entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and entrepreneurs, we've had to do everything for our business. Oftentimes, especially solopreneurs believe that no one else can or should work in our businesses with us, right? Forcing actions or strategies without alignment, attempting to control everything, and in that control, it's actually preventing our goals from unfolding. Because if we're clenching like this, literally nothing can unfold in this space. I bring this up because for me, the shift that I'm in, the reinvention that I'm in, the elevation that I'm in, that I'm being asked to journey along, has been this aha moment of the difference between the 3D world, or as Dr. Joe Dispenza says, using matter to change matter, and the 5D world, using energy to change matter. I've already kind of explained the difference between the 3D and the 5D, but let's look at this in terms of business. A 3D business is super strategy heavy. It's logic-led, it's hyper-controlled, and it's rooted in doing, and then doing some more. There's a belief within this structure that what you can see is all that's available to you, and that it's up to you to figure it out and make it happen. Let's contrast that with this 5D world. A 5D business is more about energetic alignment. It's more about intuitive flow, surrendered guidance, quantum leaps, rooted more in your being than in your doing. And in this experience, your core belief is that your energy, alignment, and magnetism are the greatest tools in your tool belt to help you bring your dreams to life. The 3D business is built in structure and systems, and adding the 5D to that brings in the soul. My perspective of this is the 3D is the Industrial Revolution era approach. They had to work really hard. Their income was directly proportionate to how hard they worked. However, we have entered into the 5D era, which is the information and the AI revolution era. We know better. We have the science to show the power of our ability to align, to attract, and to magnetize. Literally, the way that the body's field is built is as a magnet. And if you are able to couple your mind with your embodiment, you can create miracles. How does this 3D clinging hustle show up in your business? First off, refusing to delegate because no one else can do it, obsessing over metrics, working longer hours to quote unquote earn your success and your rest, constantly planning, adjusting, strategizing, moving, taking steps, acting, but not trusting, and really truly over identifying with being a solopreneur, being a worker, instead of being a visionary leader. A prompt that I want you to ask yourself is, do I trust myself to be able to build my dreams without overworking and hustling? Now, you may say, Bri, that's all I want. I don't want to hustle. But that's not what I asked. I didn't ask if you wanted that life. You probably do want that life. Most of us want that life. My question was, do you trust yourself to build your dreams without overworking and hustling? I want to give you just a little glimpse into what I'm doing behind the scenes right now. I'm actually doing a month-long experiment around underworking and overliving. And I'm literally documenting the entire thing. And I'm going to release it in July. So if you're not yet subscribed to the Big Goal Energy podcast, one, you're going to want to be, because I am breaking down everything about my month of underworking and overliving and what I'm going to bring into my business during this time. Also, if you're not on the app, I'm going to be releasing daily behind the scenes look at what is going into this, okay? Again, you may want the life where you're not overworking and hustling, but do you trust yourself to build it?
If you're listening to this and thinking, I wish I had more people in my life who just get it, you're not alone. Big goal energy women are rare. We're the ones dreaming big, defying norms, and refusing to settle. And that is exactly why I created the Big Goal Energy app. But it's more than just an app. It's a community, a safe, supportive space where ambitious women like you and me can gather, grow, and go after our biggest goals without judgment. Inside, you'll find real-time conversations, powerful tools and resources, and exclusive content you won't get anywhere else. And yes, direct access to me to support you on your journey. Whether you're building, dreaming, shifting, or scaling, you don't have to do it alone. Come join us inside the Big Goal Energy app and surround yourself with women who dream as delulu as you do. Download the app now or visit briseeley.com/community to learn more.
What does the 5D, what does freedom actually require of you to get there? The first thing is, I feel like a broken record saying this, you have to let go of needing to know exactly how you're going to get there. I love using this example from the movie The Labyrinth with David Bowie. It's an 80s movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's fantastic. It's full of Muppets and singing, and it is a great movie. Go watch it. In the movie, she is taking an epic journey, and she comes upon, in the movie, the bog of eternal stench. Yes, it is exactly what it sounds like. She needs to cross this bog. If she touches the bog in any way, shape, or form, she will smell eternal stench. She will smell forever for the rest of her life. So she has to find a way to cross this bog without touching it. This, to me, perfectly illustrates what the 5D is all about, what actually having a freedom-led business is about. Because while we want to sit down and map out every single step from here to there, what happens is we take steps 1, 2, and 3, and because of the results of those steps, steps 4 on have to shift. Then we take steps 4, 5, and 6, and as a result of those steps, plus the first 3 steps, steps 7 on have to shift. While it feels quote unquote safe to have the journey all mapped out, we end up taking just a few steps and everything changes. What do we do instead? This is where the bog of eternal stench comes in. She walked up to the edge of the bog without touching it. She doesn't want to stink forever. As she arrives at the edge of this bog, the first stone appears from underneath. It pops up in this bog. Just the first stone, though. What happens when she steps on that first stone? The second stone pops up. When she steps on the second stone, the third stone pops up. When she steps on the third stone, the fourth stone pops up, etc., until she's able to cross over the entire bog. This is how freedom-led businesses are built. And it's not about not having a plan or not having a strategy or not having things in place to help set you up for success. What it is about is being willing to move with the energy and be able to tap into your alignment every day and find what is the next best step that's aligned with where I am today and where I'm going. The other thing required to build the kind of business like this is building safety around uncertainty. You have to practice being safe in the unknown. I know from experience, from being around a lot of people, the unknown feels like a very scary place to be because you don't know what's going to happen. As Dr. Joe Dispenza says, your goal, your dream, your vision, your big goal exists in the unknown because you haven't built it yet. If you truly want to bring forward this big vision within you, the unknown has to become your best friend. And the only way to do that is to practice being safe in the unknown. In 2017, I knew that my word was surrender. And it's actually quite funny because this December, this winter solstice, went to a friend's house and she had us pull cards, and the card I pulled was surrender. And I pulled it thinking like, this was my word in 2017. I know how to do this. This year has been a practice of stepping into the unknown. One of the ways that I physically practiced being safe in surrender in 2017 was by starting a yoga hammock practice, because you literally have to surrender. Between my yoga hammock practice and also floating, two physical experiences where I embodied being safe in surrendering to the unknown. In those two physical circumstances, you don't have a choice. If you go to float and you tense up your muscles, you will wake up the next morning and not be able to move your head. Ask me how I know that. Same goes for the yoga hammock. I just rehung my yoga hammock in my shed this weekend because I am now actively again in the practice of surrendering and being in the unknown. The third thing that this kind of business is going to require of you is trusting yourself, trusting your timing, and trusting your vision. Trust requires you to keep showing up in the moments when the results aren't coming. That has been the theme of my 2025. This year's looked nothing like I thought it was going to look. And yet, I firmly believe this is the perfect timing for me and that my vision is exactly what I need to be going after right now. Most people, when they face a contraction, think that they need to go out into the physical world and get a job, go apply for jobs, go manipulate the physical world to bring the results you're looking for. That's the fist that we practiced at the beginning of this episode. My work this year has been opening my hands and trusting that even though my results right now don't look like I want them to look, I'm perfectly on time. My vision is perfect. I'm doing everything I need to be doing right now to be getting into alignment with this next level shift that I'm working towards. And I'm going to tell you what that shift is in just a minute. Let's talk about some tangible mindset shifts into building this 5D business. When we're in more of a gripping, controlling mindset, prevailing narrative is, what do I need to do next? What steps do I need to take next to change my results? When you are more in the flow, more in the intuition, more in the unfolding, the creation of what you're moving into, it's not about what you need to do, but rather who you need to be. My question all year this year has been, who do I need to be for my vision to unfold? Again, if we're going from that hustle mindset, the narrative is, how do I control the outcome? What do I need to plan? What do I need to strategize? When we're moving into the freedom-based experience and the flow, the question doesn't become, how do I control the outcome? It's, how do I expand my capacity to receive? The identity shift that I really want to invite you into, and I want you to hear this. We just talked about building safety around uncertainty. And my question for you is, who are you when you no longer need to control to feel safe? Who are you when you have that safety within you and you can trust yourself to be the vessel for that business to come through. Two additional things here, and then we're going to get to some practical steps. The first thing is I see the universe as my business partner. Whether for you that's the universe, source, higher self, God, your cosmic team, whatever, I see the universe as my business partner. If I see the universe as my business partner and I trust that I've got 50% and the universe has got 50%, for me to then go out and try to control means that I don't actually trust that the universe is my business partner. I don't actually trust that there's something bigger than me that's helping me build my goals, my dreams, and my vision. When I was in Arkansas, I was meditating one day and I had already gotten this message from both of my guides, my Akashic Records reader and my business coach. And I was meditating and I was exploring, what are my next steps? What does this look like? What is a 5D business to me? Much of which I've shared with you in this. And what does that look like on a daily basis moving forward? What came to me was, what if, hold on, before I go there, just a little backstory. In 2017, I decided that I wanted to be a 7-figure business owner. I've been working towards that for the last 8 years, but literally working. When I say working towards it, all the things that I've talked about in the 3D in this episode are what I've been doing. I've been putting in my time. I've been putting in my sweat equity. I've been putting in everything of me, hustling, burning out, all the things to try to build this 7-figure business. And I'll be real straight with you. It hasn't fucking worked. 8 years and I'm not there yet. Here I am meditating on this message that has been given to me twice now on everything I've talked about in this episode. What does this look like? How do I show up every day? What does this mean? And literally what dropped in for me as I was meditating was, what if your 7-figure business isn't going to be built from your time and your effort, but rather your mind and your energy? Let me say that again for you. What if your 7-figure business is not going to be built from your time and your effort, but rather your mind and your energy? I don't know about you. That business sounds fucking fantastic. That's where I'm going. That's what I'm doing. And the practical steps to do this have been more about alignment, more about meditation, more about tapping into the frequency of who I need to be to have the 7-figure business that has come through my mind and my energy. In addition to the floating and the yoga hammock that I mentioned earlier, I want to give you a few more things to help you start letting go of control and start tapping into the flow, the intuition, the energy, the frequency, the magnetism that's already within you. You don't need to go get it. You don't need to go find it. It's already there. The first thing I want you to do this week is I want you to start tracking where you're gripping versus where you're flowing. I just want you to notice, what are you doing? Where's your mindset at? How are you feeling when you're gripping? What are you doing? How are you being? What's going on when you're flowing this week? Once you have those two lists, compare. What are the commonalities? What are the patterns around you gripping? What are the patterns around how you're flowing and when you're flowing? The other thing I want you to start thinking about are places where you can begin to release control. Do you need to hire a housekeeper? Do you need to have someone schedule all your social media? Is there a minor business decision that you can hand off to the universe? When you're moving forward with your creative direction, can you let it come to you instead of you going to it? And then last but not least, I want to encourage you to open up space every single day to start receiving insights, receiving next steps, letting the universe, God, spirit, your higher self, whatever that is, start talking to you and helping you be your business partner. Whether this is meditation, journaling, simply being. A great way to start doing this is to embody and practice being your future self now. I do have a free future self meditation up on the Big Goal Energy app. So if you've not yet joined, go to briseeley.com/community. It's on Android and iOS. There's also a desktop version if you don't want to put it on your phone. The future self meditation is in there and it can help you connect with that part of you that's already there. In wrapping up, I just want to remind you that the freedom that you're looking for cannot be controlled into existence. Freedom and control do not coexist. And if your pathway is control, the destination cannot be freedom. Control does not lead to freedom, period. If your pathway is one thing and you're expecting the destination to be different than that thing, it doesn't work that way. If you want freedom to be your destination, your pathway also has to be freedom. All of this that you're looking for is received when you shift your operating system from that 3D strategy, hustle, control into that 5D sovereignty, flow, intuition. One final journal prompt for you before we wrap up today's episode. What would change if I trusted more and controlled less? Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Big Goal Energy. Reminder, grab the app. If you have not yet, please leave us a review on whatever platform you listen to your podcasts on. And don't forget to subscribe because I have that super cool results of my experiment coming in July, and I'm going to give you everything you need to learn how to overlive and underwork.
If this episode lit something up in you, share it. Text it to a friend, post it to your stories, or leave a review because Big Goal Energy is meant to be felt far and wide. And if you're ready to go deeper, explore the tools, hypnosis sessions, and support because your vision deserves more than hustle, join us on the Big Goal Energy app by visiting your app store and typing in Big Goal Energy. Your vision, your goals deserve alignment, ease, and your fullest self behind them. Until next time, trust yourself, dream bigger, and never forget, you are here for greatness.